Hello everybody, my name is Francesca. Welcome back to my second YouTube video. In this one we are going to be following me drawing the challenge of Aveline Stokart. I hope I pronounced it right, but this is a Draw This in Your Style challenge, and for everybody who doesn't know what that is, basically she draws a character. You can see it in my iPad up to the right. She drew that, and basically what you need to do, it's pretty obvious, you need to draw her character in your style. So this is what I'm doing now. Of course, as my last video, you saw that I start from the sketch, so a rough construction of how I want my pose to look like, and then I proceed to the proper sketch. To do the rough sketch, I find it useful to use like this little circle where like for the shoulders and for the knee and the feet, because I think when you are drawing this final sketch, it helps you give like that sort of curve and helps you build the body. It's just really simplified anatomy, so it's a little tip. For example, here, as you can see, I am following my circle that I drew before to do the shoulder, so you can follow it and it gets quicker to like do shoulders and knees, etc. In this video I decided, let me know if you like it or not, I decided to put the recording of my iPad down to the left so you can see the whole view, because maybe when I draw I tend to zoom in specific part to see them better, so maybe with this help you can see both, like the zoom part and what I'm doing in the big picture. I don't know, I think it was useful, but this is not a real recording, it's the time-lapse that Procreate gives you, and I slow it down quite a bit, so I hope the quality is not shitty. As you saw in the last video, if you saw it, if you didn't, I will link it up somewhere here, but if you didn't see it, I draw in this like reddish color for my sketch. I used to draw in black, but I don't know, I didn't like it when I applied the multiply effect, so I think this one is pretty good, but I kind of think every color fits this. I just happen to like this because it's neutral, not too in your face. So as you can see, for this drawing I tried a sort of dynamic pose. I have to say I've struggled a bit with perspective. I think perspective is so hard and I still need to improve that a lot. And also for the face of the girl here, I tried something a little bit different from my usual faces, so I changed my idea for what I wanted to do so much, so you will see me moving things around because I just wanted to play around and see how would everything look like in a different perspective or position. I suggest you do that if you are starting, because I think it makes you see what could you have done differently or what could have worked better in other places, and I think it's like the major plus of drawing digitally, so that's also why I love it, because you can change idea, and I am a very indecisive person. Once I did the rough sketch, I set it on multiply and lower the opacity, and then I start to do the final sketch. I have to say, since I'm lazy, I take this sketch and then color on it, but I should redraw it over, because since I change my mind or maybe I do something wrong, I tend to erase it and then draw it over, so the quality of some of the lines is not always perfect. but I'm very lazy, so I never drew it over. It's also true that most of the lines will then be deleted, so you can't really see it at the end, but you know, for a better work you should do that. I would like to point out, I think you can see it for yourself, but I will just point it out so you know that I saw it first, that in the first part of the drawing my legs were horrible. I don't know why, but they were so small for her, and I will fix it later in the drawing. But yeah, so just to remind you that I will fix them. I don't know why they came out so ugly, but that's that. Oh, one thing that came to my mind is I wanted to ask you, all of you watching, if you would like, and for this video I kept the last video format, so the me drawing and me speaking over it. But I wanted to ask you if you would like to have me always speaking like this, or if you prefer me recording myself and putting me like in a little place in the video, like in a little circle of me speaking, so you can see my face. Let me know what would you prefer. And besides that, for this video I've changed my perspective, my camera angle. I think this one is a lot better because you can see my full screen like from up top, so I think you can see better. The other one I think you could see, but not everything, so I really hope you like it better. I think I will use this one. I won't say forever, but for my next videos I will try to use this one and make you see better what I'm doing. Here too you will see that I cut some of the parts, like for example the erasing and the coloring, just because the video would be so long if I kept it all. So for now I will do like this. I will do them like this. If you would like to see everything, maybe I could do 2 separate parts. You can let me know everything you want and I will think about it. I was also thinking of doing like a video for a hand or feet, like specific parts, so maybe I can slow it down and really explain to you how I draw, like for example hands that I think are really tricky, or hair. So those will be coming, but I wanted to apply them in maybe like drawing that have really hair or more particular hair, so I will think about it in the future, but they will be coming. Also, some of the mistakes I made, I've erased them just because, again, the video would be so long if I kept it all. But I've kept some of them because I think it's important to let you know or show you that everybody makes mistakes, and the final drawing is not the product of every single perfect activity or action you take for that specific drawing, but I make mistakes, everybody makes mistakes, so I don't think erasing them all would be beneficial, because I really struggle with everything that gets put out on the internet, because I think sometimes, and most of the time, people tend to present a face that has no problem, and I don't want to do that. So just know I made mistakes, and I don't particularly like to show them because I hate making mistakes, but I think it's important to overcome this fear that I have. For the air, I usually do 5 or 4 levels based on how I think it's coming out. One for the texture, so with a hairbrush, one for like darker part of hair, and one for the light part, and one for the light reflex and for the shadows like that I do with a different brush. So these are my golden layers for the hair, and then I tend to switch it up if I don't think those are enough, or if I think I want to make like a more realistic effect sometimes. And besides, it depends really on the color, because for example darker hair are very hard, so I tend to add more light in those. But for this hair, these are so fun. I love doing pink hair, or in general colored hair. I think they give so much life to the drawing. So I was so happy to do pink hair. And as you can see, I also added a level for the part of the hair that catches the light, while also the part of the hair that catches the shadow, that catches the art in the shadows. So I think there were 6 levels in these drawings, and I like to add the reflex. It's not very really realistic, but I do really like it, and I think it's kind of a cartoonish aspect. I've seen it a lot, not from everyone, but I do really like it. I'm very affectionate towards it, so I don't think I will be abandoning it anytime soon. For the eyes, I always add a light in the pupil, I think. Pupil, yeah, and the shadows, and also the little white light, I think gives so much life to the eye. Even if I didn't do anything else to the eye, I would always catch that. And you can also see me changing the light of changing the color of the light, just because I think the light in this particular color gives also more life to the eye. So I wanted to play around a little bit, just because, as I said before, I think it's important to play around just to be sure of what you're doing moving forward. And then after I did the eye, I move on to the shadows of the skin and the little details of the fingers and the elbow, which I set on multiply. And then I did the jeans. I have this brush that has like a jean texture, sorry, I think it's denim, a denim texture, and I love it. I think it gives so much a realistic vibe to the denim, sorry. It's English for me, the word jeans, but it gives so much life, and it really looks like denim. So I really suggest like brushes that have the cloth, I think it's called, texture. Like I have denim, but I also have wool. We have like 10 different textures. I love them to do denim, but also to do like sweater and things like that. I really suggest them because they are so quick to use and really push the drawing more. So that's what I did to the pants, and I didn't do it for the shirt just because I liked it plain. I like it simple. And then I proceeded to do the shadows, as you can see. So I explained in my last drawing that these are like little shadow, and I will be keeping on calling them like this. So the little shadows that we see in, for example, clothes, or as you in your necklace here. So for the shadows, for these little shadows, I use the mask, which I really recommend because I think it's much more quick than just do it plain without it, because most of all because I tend to lose the color I used for the shadows, so this way I won't be losing it, and I don't know, it just gives you more space to change your ideas, I would say. I would suggest it for everyone who draws in Procreate. For this drawing also, I decided the light was coming from the left, so all my shadows are at the right, obviously, and it was a yellowy light, a very warm yellow, if I remember correctly. I'm doing shadows still, and well, not much to say about that. Just one quick thing. Since I'm very lazy, first I color the shadows with I think it's ink. I think it's called ink, the brush I'm using. But I first do all the shadows with this brush, and then I go and I fade them so they will look more natural. But first, before fading, I want to do them like quick like this, because I want to have the whole picture before going to fade them, because it takes time to fade them. So if I'm not sure if I like them or not, it's pointless to do that. So I think I like it better this way. And yeah, so that was it. That was my tutorial on fading. If anyone's interested, I think that for this drawing I spent like 6 hours, maybe more. But since last month I had exam to do, and this was shot like 2 weeks ago, so while I was doing exams, I tend to do it like 1 hour at night, because I couldn't do it during the day. So that's also why it's that dark. But also I couldn't figure out how to show you my screen without like being too dark outside of my screen, because I tried to do like with lights on, but the screen was coming out so bright, so you weren't able to see like all the details that I was doing. So I think I'm going to close, even if I shoot during the day, because I don't want you to lose any aspect of the drawings. But I don't know, just let me know if you know something, because as I said, or I either show you the drawings in the light of the day, or I show you my screen. My camera doesn't seem to want to do both. as you can see here, I've started to fade my shadows. They will look a lot more natural, but I fade my shadows because I think they look more natural and I like the look of it. But I would like to point out that the look of the shadows especially depends on your style, because I know a lot of artists, even big artists, that don't fade their shadows, and I love how the harsh shadow look on their girls. I think it also depends on the light, but I tend to switch it up. But just want to point out that it depends on the style you're going with. For the shadow, I think it's obvious, but I'm gonna say it anyways. I try to follow how our body are built. So, for example, the arm, I tend to do it like round, and I guess everybody knew that, but just if you didn't, just in case. Then after the shadow, I did the shadows on the ground. I think it's optional. For this drawing in particular, since she's sitting on the ground, I thought it was nice. After the shadows on the ground, I proceeded to do the light. As you can see, it's a warm light, it's not very harsh. Well, it is kind of harsh, but just because I prefer to do it very harsh when I'm drawing it, so I can see it better, and then I will tone it down a bit. So we can see the light was coming from the left. It was really to the left, so she wasn't too much on the light, so how the light is like very on the side, for example on the nose and on the cheek and on the arm. After I think my drawing is finished, I open up the panel of the curves and I play it around a little bit just to see, just to play with the colors a bit, and then it's done. I really hope you enjoy this time we spent together, or I hope I explained what I was doing. If you have any question at all, please feel free to ask me, and if you like what I do, you can find me on Instagram and on TikTok. If you like this video, please let me know. I would really appreciate it, and subscribe if you like me. Bye bye!